Hello, everybody. Welcome to the April Great Start to Quality Connection. We're happy that you're here with us this afternoon. I have 101, so we are going to get started because we have a lot of great information for you today. So again, just as a reminder of where you're at today, this is our bi-monthly webinar where Great Start to Quality gives you some updates and information. We have time for question and answers about the quality improvement process. And so this is our April session with you for that today. We will continue to have folks coming in, so welcome for all of you coming into the Quality Connection. So a little bit of tech etiquette today. We ask that you go ahead and keep yourself muted unless you are speaking or we've called on you to ask something. That way everyone can hear the presenters and we don't have a lot of background noise going on during the webinar. Your camera can stay on or off, whatever you're more comfortable with. We do like to see you, but we know that this is 1 o'clock, right? This might be your time where you're having your lunch, and that's fine, not a problem. And we do have both the chat available and my colleague Melissa will be putting some things in the chat as we go through this time together. So make sure that you're watching the chat for those important links. And we also have the Q&A box. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, you can use both the chat or the Q&A feature, and we will make sure to get to those things. All right, I am Kristen Howard, and I am the Assessment Manager for Great Start to Quality, and I work for the Early Childhood Investment Corporation. And I am joined by some of my colleagues today, Melissa Mosley and Dana Frederick, who will be helping with any questions about things. And like I mentioned, Melissa will be putting some important things in the chat. We also have two amazing guest speakers today to talk about school age. So I will let those folks introduce themselves when they are ready to present, when it's time for them to present. So welcome to everyone today. Our agenda for this afternoon. We're going to finish up this welcome and introductions. We have our presentations that we're going to give. Again, two separate presentations today. And then we're going to provide just some updates and quick tips and leave time for questions and answers at the end. If you have questions along the way, again, feel free to pop those in the chat and we'll do the best we can to make sure we get to everything here today. Just to center us in our space here, we have the Great Start to Quality, quality recognition and improvement process here on the screen. So take a minute to look at that. Maybe you're somewhere in the process right now. Perhaps you're working on some of your goals or your quality indicators. Maybe you're in maintaining health and safety and you have not quite decided to move through any further in the process. Or maybe you've already had your on-site observation and you're further along. So think about Great Start to Quality and possibly where you're at. Again, we know that you're here because you know that Great Start to Quality is important, and so we appreciate you being here. If you have questions about this particular process, again, we don't have a lot of time today that we're spending right in this process, as we do have some guest speakers. But if you do have questions about any of the quality levels that you see on your screen here, definitely pop that in the chat and we will get you some assistance. All right. Without further ado, we have a guest speaker today. We have two folks actually, and the first person that I would like to introduce to talk about their program and the personal story that she had with coming through the process with a school age program is Amanda Garland. And Amanda, I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor for your presentation.
Thanks, Kristen. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Amanda Garland. I'm the Child Care Director for the YMCA of Greater Toledo. But I'm the only Michigan-based childcare that is part of the Toledo Association. So we are a school age only program currently. We do before and after school care, as well as out of school time for vacations and summer. We run Monday through Friday, 6 to 6. We're licensed for 80 children. Our typical enrollment during the school year is probably maxed out at 40. And in the summer, we're very close to our licensed capacity of 80 kids. My background is mostly preschool up until a few years ago. I taught preschool for almost 20 years, combination of Head Start and a private preschool program. So when I found out, so after I took the director position for a school age program, that was some new territory for me. And when I found out that Great Start to Quality was going to be allowing school age or incorporating school age into the new, what used to be the STAR program, I started kind of reading things as they were coming out and attending trainings and, looking at information on what it was going to take for us to get to where we are now. We have currently five, excuse me, 5 part-time staff with a lead teacher who has a bachelor's degree in early elementary education. We have gone through trainings in conscious discipline and as well as second step for SEL. So we use parts and pieces of both of those curriculums to kind of help us with SEL in our program. We do use a couple of different pieces of STEM curriculum. Some of it's from Teachers Pay Teachers, and it works out really well for the kids. And it also is great for the teachers because it provides everything step by step, lists the supplies and things, and kind of gives ideas on how we can use or use the kids' ideas and get them involved in the STEM that we do every day. Our teachers do a really phenomenal job at trying to see each child individually instead of as a group, because every kid is different and every kid responds to different things in different ways. And so really knowing our kids and making sure that our staff have time to get to know the kids is important to us. So we have a peace corner. And like I said, we've incorporated things from second step as well as conscious discipline. All of the kids have utilized this corner at one point or another. It gives suggestions to the kids on breathing techniques, things that they could do to help with problem solving. And, we have a sign right by our door when the kids come in on how they want to be greeted today. And that was something I picked up when I was teaching preschool, but I would say 9 times out of 10, the program that we're in and the fact that our kids have been with us for as long as they have, most of them opt for a hug. They love to just have that connection with the staff. Our schedule is posted in the classroom so that both teachers and kids can see everything that they are doing, whether it's just for before and after school, or if we have a cancellation day. Our summer looks a little bit different than what's there, but that is for, during the school year, Christmas vacation, spring break, that kind of thing. And then we also utilize this classroom family because we are with the kids as much as they are with their own families. And so we try to get them to see and understand and respect each other as they would their own families. I saw this bulletin board on Facebook, I believe, at one point in time, and it just really resonated with me because school age is it's super important for them to get to understand that they're the ones responsible for the choices, the actions that they make. And if they're successful, the words that they use and the grades that they earn, it's up to them. It's not, just the teachers teaching them and their parents with them, but it's up to them too to see that they're the ones that are um, responsible for those things. And one of the things, we have a whole wall full of stuff, not only for the kids, but for the staff as well. Um, just reminding them how important that they are to us. And the visuals help teachers and staff, hey, this is something that I can do if I'm having a problem or if I'm having a hard morning. And then just reminders, that they're loved, they're important. The SEL is such a big piece of school age programming. Um, those kids they're just learning how to interact with each other and how to get along and how to problem solve. And all of these things are just super helpful reminders. Again, here's some more pieces just to help the kids and the staff. Some of these things are, specifically for the staff because we all get into those situations where especially in the beginning when we're learning to uh, not just direct the kids, don't walk, don't run, don't do this, don't do that. It's turning it around from a negative to a positive or explaining to kids that, first we can do this and then we can do that. So that they understand that they're going to get to do what they want to do, but we have to finish something else first. So it's one of the things that's really important to me and was really important to carry out in this program was turning the negative into positives. These are two of the STEM curriculums that we utilize the most. The little cards, the Fruit Loop Fortress and Rainbow Bridge was a STEM curriculum that was purchased through Teachers Pay Teachers, and they're super easy cards. We utilize these mostly in the morning because it's easy for the teachers to pull one out of the box, or for me to pre-plan the week for the staff and pull the supplies together. And it quickly explains kind of what their task or their goal is. And then the other one, the STEM All Year, is great because it gives STEM activities for all of the holidays through the years, spring, summer, fall, winter, the seasons. It gives us so many options back to school for lesson plans. It tells us what, the standards are, what supplies we need for each activity, and it's super simple for the lesson plans to be carried out. So, anything can be turned into a STEM activity and anything can be given and turned around to be child-led or turned into a science or technology, engineering, math activity. And it's nice to see, the older kids, getting to have some responsibility and helping the younger kids carry the STEM out and, helping they feel a sense of accomplishment when they've been able to help the younger kids. And it's neat to see all of that when we give the kids some responsibility and how they end up problem solving and relating to each other socially, emotionally. It's great. These are some of the STEM activities that we've done outside of the two curriculums that I was just talking about. These are favorites and we've done them every year for several years. Making stone soup, the kids get to measure, cut, put everything together, and then they actually get to eat their STEM project. And then the applesauce, again, they get to, start from scratch and see the process of how, applesauce being made is done. And they love when they can be a part of the entire process. A couple more STEM activities that we've done. The float a boat challenge, the kids, got access to a whole bunch of different STEM supplies. And so they took turns going over and, getting to pick out things that they could build a boat with. And then once they were done building, they could take it outside, try to float it in a pool. If they wanted to make modifications, they were able to come back in and make modifications to their boat and then take it back outside. And they got to take turns seeing how many gummy bears their boat would hold. And then in December, one of the things that we really talk about, the Y has 5 core values that we kind of operate around: honesty, caring, respect, responsibility, and faith. And carrying out those values is important to us. And one of the things that we did in December, our lead school teacher and myself collected things that the kids could put together into blessing bags, because our childcare center is actually located right across the street from a homeless shelter. So once the bags were done and put together, they were delivered to the homeless shelter across the street. So the kids thought that was cool, that they were, they knew that their hard work was going to go towards people that needed it. And having that understanding of kind of the social emotional part of, explaining, why these people potentially need the things that we're providing in the bags. They really got to connect and relate to, others in our community. So some of the steps that we took to becoming demonstrating quality, we obviously started at the very beginning. We submitted the application. I'm a very visual learner, so being able to print everything and read through it and highlight, what we were already doing or needed to be doing was huge for me and for the staff here. We read through the quality indicators guidance document, made some changes into our enrollment packet, things like adding in, we had a survey that we sent out via like a Google Doc, but being able to add like a paper survey to our enrollment packet, and adding things like surveys about their home life, who else was in their home, what holidays they celebrate, what cultural pieces could we bring from home into our center? Did they have things that they wanted to share about their home life with the kids here? Did we have any parents that wanted to volunteer? We made some changes to the parent handbook, and all of those were based on goals that we set. And then we printed the SEL PQA self-assessment, and I wanted the staff to be able to tell me, where they thought we were meeting and exceeding, or whether we, weren't meeting it, or where we could do better at. And so it was nice being able to get everybody's input on why they thought we were meeting in a certain piece, or no, we weren't, and asking them, what evidence can you provide, not just what I see, but what do you see in, where we are doing a good job and where we need to do better. So after the self-reflection was submitted, and the documentation to support that was uploaded, we created those goals, took the steps to meet those goals, and then wait for the review. Submitted the application for validation and waited for a validator to come out and kind of assess our program and see where we were at.
All right. Thank you, Amanda.
Yep.
I think it's really beneficial for everyone to hear from providers, people who are right out in the trenches doing this work. Does anyone have any questions for Amanda on any of the content that she covered? Anything more specific? You can pop that in the chat or the Q&A, or go ahead and unmute her if you have something specific for Amanda. Amanda, if you're willing, to possibly put in the chat your email address if anyone would like to ask you anything more specific about some of the things that you presented today. I know that everyone's wheels are probably spinning and thinking of all the great things that they can do with their school agers. So we just really appreciate you coming today, Amanda, and speaking to all the things that you are doing in your program and how you can be successful in school age programs. So thank you to Amanda.
Yep.
I'm not seeing any questions so far. But again, we appreciate you being here with us. And if anyone thinks of anything as we go, definitely put it in the chat or the Q&A box.
Yes, please. And, anybody who's got any questions, I gave a lot of information in a very short time. So please, don't hesitate to send me an email. If you think of anything, I'm more than happy to take pictures or meet with anybody if you're local for you to come see the center.
Great. Thank you so much, Amanda. All right, our next presentation is from Sonia Beasley Hall with the Michigan After School Partnership, MASP. And I am going to go ahead and let Sonia introduce herself and we will get going with her presentation.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here with you all this afternoon. As I was introduced, my name is Sonia Beasley Hall, but I go by Sonia Hall now. I say that because I've been married for over 30 years to the same wonderful husband. And so I'm about to get rid of that hyphen. And so it would just be Sonia Hall moving forward in the future. I am the professional development manager with the Michigan After School Partnership. And I am so glad once again to be here to spend time with you on today. I'm just looking forward to learning together and continuing to support equitable access to quality out-of-school time experiences for young people here in Michigan. Next slide, please. The Michigan After School Partnership advocates for equitable access to systems and to programs and to the young people across Michigan. We support the systems and the programs and providers that work to expand quality out-of-school time experiences for all youth in the state. So as you know, out-of-school time includes before school, after school, and summer learning. And we do this in a number of ways, which include, next slide, please, which includes us providing resources and supporting best practices through programmatic training, our newsletters, conferences that we hold twice a year, our social media, and others. We also do this by engaging and mobilizing stakeholders and influencers to support quality and equitable access to out-of-school time providers and programs, by sharing key data and information that fosters a broader understanding of youth needs in out-of-school time. And we also have a policy coordinator who works closely with us to champion policies and funding to create a strong and an equitable access across the state of Michigan. We have our executive director, Erin Skeen-Pratt, who does an amazing job of working with our funders to make sure that we are on target there. We also work to provide those trainings, like I mentioned earlier. And with our trainings, we make sure that we take each recording and we put that on our YouTube channel to provide further trainings for those who may want to share those trainings and those offerings with their staff. And we also make sure that every single one of our trainings that are on our YouTube channel come with our evaluation. So when they take that evaluation, they are able to get my registry credit right there and then. Next slide, please. We also advocate for other systems and other trainings across the state. We have a great partnership with Michigan Virtual, who, as you know, all of their trainings speak to the My Registry system. And so we do make sure that we list all of the Michigan Virtual trainings on our website. And we also make sure that we offer those in our school age programs as well. Next slide. Some of our other training offerings that we offer is around the Youth for Youth programming. And we know that a lot of their trainings right now are archived, but they are still active and they are still accessible. So when we are working with some of our out of school time young folks who are going through our CTE programs right now, who are getting our MyYDA, and I'll talk about that a little further into the presentation. We offer them this training here through Y for Y or U for Youth as a resource for them to take those trainings and to further their training hours. And once again, like I said, this is archived for Youth for Youth. They're working on a new platform, but they still allow us to access these trainings, and we are able to provide all the course numbers to our young people and even to our youth development advocates who need training hours for the registry or toward our MyYDA credential. So we do offer this as another source as well. Next slide. So talking about the MyYDA, so in my role at the Michigan After School Partnership, I not only do the professional development and work on our events twice a year. One thing that I also work on heavily and have a great passion for is our school age credential, which is called the Michigan Youth Development Associate Certificate and Credentialing Program, for short, the MyYDA. This MyYDA, we are in partnership with MyLeap, who is in partnership with the Michigan Department of Education, who highly recognizes this credential across the state of Michigan. I would say that right now, my colleagues are in New Mexico at the 50 State Network talking about this MyYDA because it is taking off. It is hugely recognized. You may not have heard of this, but if you have, it has been around for about 12 years now. But for the past 3 years, this credential has taken off. I also mentioned that our CTE students in high school, they are using this credential to advance their teaching career. This is a pathway for teaching, a pathway for counseling. A lot of our school age programs actually, if they need staff and they have a staffing shortage, they come to us asking who has recently passed this credentialing program, and they offer them a job working in their programs. So once again, this is our school age credential, and it is being heavily recognized and utilized here in the state of Michigan. There are two pathways for this credential. There is a certificate, which is not as rigorous as the credential itself. With the certificate, it is less time and it is $35 to get through it, but it does give you an idea of what we're looking for at the state level. The credential is a little bit more rigorous, and it has a lot more ability to ask for a wage increase, to offer someone who may want to become a program director or a project director. This credential has been recognized heavily in that regard. I have two cohorts that I've worked with, one through Wayne Metro, who once they've gotten through this process, they were able to go and ask for a wage increase, and it was given to them. My second cohort, they are delving deeply into the credential, and right now they are seeing great success with this. I also have someone who's gone through the credentialing process who recently shifted to a new job, and on their resume, they put the credential down there and were able to negotiate for 15,000 extra on their salary just by having this credential. The credential also works when it comes down to the quality rating system as well. So, and then we're talking more about licensing behind this credential as well. Right now in licensing, the credential is mentioned, so it does apply to licensing as well. Next slide, please. And one thing that we have found that really benefits the credential and all of the trainings that I've mentioned that are offered through Michigan Virtual, as you know, that talks to the registry, the Youth for Youth trainings, everything being housed right into the My Registry system has proven to be super beneficial. So if you are not taking advantage of the My Registry, I would strongly suggest that you do, because with my folks, when I'm working on the credential, one thing that we do is that we use their training log and we use their training records to show them how their trainings are aligned. Because with that credential, it's 120 hours of documented trainings that we're looking for. And having those hours at their fingertips through the My Registry database has been super helpful for me as someone who's actually taken the time to audit not only their training logs, I also audit their transcripts from college. And so being that auditor on that end, having that information accessible to me is so helpful when I'm going through that, assisting them through the process. For the credential, I can go back 5 years and look at your training logs. I can go back 5 years and look at your training transcripts and do an audit based off of those two forms of documentation to get you to that 120 hours. And if there's a gap, if I find a gap, trust me, I will find you a training. If it's through us, the Michigan After School Partnership, or if it's through going through Y for Y, I will make sure that I will find a training that will cover any gaps of training that may be there. Next slide, please. You can follow us for all of our professional developments, for anything more about the YDA credential, on all of our socials. We have tons of things that are always happening at the Michigan After School Partnership around policy, advocating for funding. We are an out of school time funder. We're not funders. We actually receive grant monies from the state. And what we do with those is we're able to offer grants to programs and providers, the out of school time grant, that we actually partner with the MyLeap department on those. Next slide, please. If you would like to know any more about what we're doing at the Michigan After School Partnership around policy, around trainings, once again, we hold our 2 conferences a year. Every single one of our sessions, every single one of our training opportunities is aligned to the MyYDA. So what you'll find is that in our 10 core competencies, which kind of align with the early childhood education CDA requirements, they align heavily. We've done a crosswalk on those. Each and every one of those training sessions, every event is aligned to those core competencies. So if you were to take one of our trainings, I'm quite sure that you could find a way to take those hours and use them in early child education as well as school age. So they do work hand in hand. So if you would love to know anything more about us, please reach out to the myafterschool.org. I would love to share more with you about our school age credential and how it could benefit you and your staff. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sonia, for presenting all of that amazing information about the Michigan After School Partnership. And as I mentioned before, my colleague Melissa, she has been dropping all of those links in the chat that Sonia provided. So if you didn't catch anything on the screen, as Sonia was mentioning, all of those resources, take a look in the chat because those links are provided for you as well. And so now we have time for questions. If anyone has questions for Sonia on any of the material that she presented, or questions just about the Michigan After School Partnership, we would definitely like to open that up for questions for Sonia. And I see Sonia has put her contact information in the chat as well. Marissa says, no question, but we're sending 6 staff to the After School Capital Day. Great. All right, there's a question, Sonia. Do we have UP resources for after school?
We are working on that. We notice that there is a desert in the UP when it comes down to offering those resources. So what we have done, we are constant meetings with Christy, my executive director, and we are truly looking forward to making sure that we offer more resources and getting those resources into the UP. It is our constant effort. Perfect. Awesome. I will take note of that. Thank you so much. I will be in contact. Oh, thank you for that information. I will grab that right now. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any additional questions for Sonia? Well, again, thank you to both Amanda and Sonia for spending some time with us today to talk about school age and after school and providing so many wonderful resources for all of us. I see one question, one more. Is there an age requirement for the after school?
Regarding the students after school, what is that, 5 to 18, if I'm correct, or staff? Kindergarten. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so depending on if you're talking about a staff requirement, age requirement, or a child requirement. If we didn't answer, okay, perfect. Looks like we answered what you wanted. Perfect. Any other questions?
Yes, this one is kind of off the ballot, but just a quick question. If you wanted to go to like the neighboring schools in your community where you're housed at and get sign up or just leave literature on soliciting their students for after school, like if parents can't come, do you know what steps needed to take that aspect or?
So here in Adrian, in order for us to leave flyers for before and after school programming or out of school time programming, we have to submit them to the superintendent's office for
Okay.
approval. And once they're approved, then we just make copies and deliver them to all of the schools that we want them handed out at.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Any further questions for either Amanda or Sonia today? All right, we're going to move forward with our agenda and give you a couple of updates. And the first one is going to be about the on-site observation form. So this is something that is a process that is a little bit newer. If you've had an on-site observation in the past, you may not have received the on-site observation form, but if you are have been coming through recently, maybe perhaps that you've seen this form. So just an update on this form. This is a form for programs that have already been validated. Once you've been validated, you will receive an on-site observation questions form via email. And so this actually has been working out to be very supportive of programs coming through the process. Instead of lengthy phone calls, we're capturing a lot of the information that we need to ask you in a form. So everything from, are you a school year only program, to maybe parking and entering instructions for the assessor when they would come out to do the on-site observation. Those things are the types of things that are captured in this form. It is very important that everyone who receives this form actually does complete the form. In the email, there's instructions and kind of a deadline for you to get that form in by. But it's important to note that the form does not replace a phone call. So what it actually does is minimize the time that you're on the phone getting ready for that on-site observation and working with us to get that 4-week scheduling window where an assessor would come out and do the on-site observation. So it just makes the phone call a little bit shorter, actually a lot shorter. And also it gives us some good times to get a hold of you for that phone call as well. So if you're coming through the process If you've been validated, definitely watch for that. If you're coming through and have not had your validation yet, know that that's the next step in the process. And due to the volume of programs coming through, just be patient and wait and watch for that form, as it definitely will be coming to you. So is the on-site observation form before the validation call? That's a really great question. No, the form will come after the validation is complete. And it's not right after. So we do have to have some time to process everything. So you can kind of watch for that in the weeks after your validation. It's not right immediately after the validation. All right. Before we move on, are there any questions about the form? I know we had that one in the chat. Does anyone else have any questions about the on-site observation questions form? All righty, seeing none. We're going to talk about the YouTube links in the system. So this is a big update. And you can see here that there is some text that is highlighted on the screen. So if you're coming through the process, you're looking at this box as if you were in the system here. And this is a great new addition to the process where the YouTube links are actually embedded into the system here, so that you can watch a video on how to do the step that you're in. So definitely a great update and something that we're very excited about. Do either of my colleagues have anything more to say about the YouTube links, or are there any questions about this?
Hi, Kristen. I'll just add a few words about them.
Thanks, Dave.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dana Frederick. I'm the Data Systems Manager for Great Start to Quality. These YouTube videos are kind of scattered throughout the system on the next steps, and there's some on the landing page for the quality dashboard. Anywhere where you see sort of a light blue writing and it says here or click here, that's where you're going to see a YouTube video embedded. So this is going to open up a new window on your screen from YouTube, and it'll show you step by step how to go through whatever the theme of the video is.
Perfect. Thank you, Dana. Are there any other questions about the YouTube links in the system? Alrighty. So we definitely always want to encourage everyone to reach out to their local Great Start to Quality Resource Center. The 800 number as well as the general email are here on your screen because those folks can provide you with a wealth of information and support throughout the entire process. So definitely reach out to your local resource center if you're not already connected to them. We highly encourage you to definitely do that. We have a lot of Resource Center folks on today. Hello to you all. So they are up to date with all the latest and greatest information to help you and support you through this process. Before we wrap up, I just want to offer, if there are any other questions at all, we'll give you a little bit of time back, but we do have time if anyone has questions about anything Great Start to Quality related, anything you've heard today, or another question that you may have while you have some folks here that might be able to support you. Definitely happy to answer some questions. Feel free to put them in the chat through the Q&A or go ahead and unmute while we see if there's any other questions, Melissa did put in the chat how you can register for the next Quality Connection. So our next time together will be in June. Hard to believe, but it's coming fast. June 12th from 1 to 2 is the next Quality Connection where we will have time together. So definitely register for that ahead of time. We love to have you coming to these sessions, and tell your friends. We have a lot of really great information that we are providing at these Quality Connections, and we'd love to see more folks on. And so definitely share with your networks, and encourage folks to come to the Quality Connections. All right, okay, we really need special needs resources. Where can I find them? Lots of resources are definitely out there for you. I would highly encourage you to reach out to your local Great Start to Quality Resource Center, because you might have some local resources that can help you, as well as there's a lot of broad resources as well. But they have lending library, and they have a lot of contacts for all the resources for you. So I would definitely reach out to those folks, and they can get you connected with some resources that you are in need of. All righty. Seeing no other questions coming in. I don't see anybody unmuting. Oh, yep.
Hi, this is Sophia. Thank you for sharing all this information. I logged into the MI registry organization, and I'm trying to find the YouTube. If you can guide that, that would be great.
Okay, so the YouTube links that we discussed, or
Yes. Yeah.
okay. So I see Dana is like working on that, so I think she's gonna get you.
Thank
Bjorn,
you.
the
Thank
links in actual My Registry are going to be in your case. So if you don't have a current Great Start to Quality case open, you won't see them, but we'll also get you the Great Start to Quality YouTube channel link.
Yeah, what Melissa is saying is true. And it's also possible that whenever you look into your quality case, where those links are, you might not have any right away, just because they only show up in certain areas. So like whenever you're in certain steps of the Great Start to Quality process is whenever they'll show up, like whenever we have a video to share. If there's no associated video with the content for the piece of the process that you're in, then there won't be any link. But I'm trying to look and see if I can
Melissa
find you
put the link for Great Start to Quality YouTube channel right in the chat, so that will help you a lot. And hopefully the other questions have been answered with that. Yeah, they are really embedded. So depending on where you're at is where you're going to find that help. But definitely check out our YouTube channel. Those videos are also found on our website at certain points of the process. On our website as well too. I also see that several people, thank you, have been sharing some resources early on. Build Up Michigan, Caring for Children with Delays and Disabilities. I appreciate you all putting those resources to help each other in the chat. So definitely take advantage of some of those. Rosanna, in terms of setting up classrooms. Melissa, Candace answered, correct. I think you got your question answered. Thank you very much. Melissa did put our website. Yeah, go ahead, Rosanna.
Real quick, so
Yeah.
if they do have the same teaching staff, will it still need 2 different classrooms?
Correct. So you need to, you still need to create those classrooms. So as you're going through, that process. Definitely make sure that the classrooms are correct. And that really is important when it comes to the on-site observation portion of the process, that we have the correct classrooms reflected. So all of you, as you're putting your classrooms in, definitely making sure you're updating. Even if there's the same teachers, we need to make sure that the classrooms are reflective of what is currently happening. And again, that really comes into play in that on-site observation portion of the process, so that we know exactly how many classrooms that need to be observed and that type of thing.
Even if it's the same age group and teaching team, they have to have two separate classrooms? I think
Correct.
that's what Rosanna was asking.
Yeah, so make sure that they're reflected in there. Yep. Yep. Alrighty, and we can definitely, if you have any specifics, specific programs that you're needing some help with the classrooms, definitely reach out. We can help you with that. So, right, Melissa said the children are different, so we need to see the separate classrooms. Alrighty, again, Kathy put another resource in there. Make sure before you leave today that you're clicking on some of those links, and you might want to bookmark some of those. There's some really great resources that folks have provided in the chat today. We do have a few minutes left if anyone else has any other questions. Otherwise, definitely, like I said, June 12th, we will see you again, and be sure to register for the next Quality Connection. We really appreciate, we know everyone is busy, and taking an hour out of your time to make sure that you understand everything Great Start to Quality is really appreciated. So thank you for coming today. Again, we thank our guest speakers, Amanda and Sonia, for coming and talking school age today. We appreciate you. And I hope all of you have a great day.